Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife review for you. Today, we have the Benchmade 535-3 Bugout. This is the new fancy pants, cat's pajamas, top-of-the-line version of the Bugout, which is by far their best-selling model now. And you guys really like Bugout videos, so of course I wanted to get my hands on one of these as quickly as I could. I do want to thank one of our sponsors, Indiana Knives, for helping me get my hands on one of these so fast. If you go down below, there is a link you can use and you'll get $10 off of any order if you go there, or use the code Dicey at checkout. He's sold out of this right now, but he did order a bunch of them, he said, so hopefully he'll have more in. And as well, he has a million other brands, Wiz, Zero Tolerance, bunch more Benchmade, Spyderco, Rake, Hinderer, all kinds of stuff. So go check him out down below, and thank you again very much for getting me one of these so quickly. So get this out of the way. It's $255, but for that you are getting S90V and carbon fiber and this cool back spacer instead of the usual standoffs. If you are just going to turn off right now because it's $255 for a Bugout, stick around till the end. We are going to talk about that extensively at the end and why I feel like, yeah, it's expensive, but you can't replicate it for this price. We'll talk about it more at the end. So let's get going with this. So yes, it is a Bugout, still the same shape that we all love, still the same great, very awesome EDC blade shape, just S90V. Same great, comfortable handles, but contoured carbon fiber. They're not just carbon fiber slabs. There, let's close it so I can get a little better focus on here. Nicely contoured, very nicely finished. The usual Bugout clip. It is a very well put together knife, and I think it looks great. It's just a nice, simple design. I like the look of this little aluminum backspacer instead of the previous just lanyard hole. Gives it a little bit more color. The blue thumb studs. I think it's a great looking little knife for sure. Let's do some specs and size comparisons before we go too much farther. Specs, a lot of them very similar to your regular Bugout, especially dimensionally. We have a 3.24 inch blade, overall length of 7.46 inches, blade thickness of 0.09 inches, handle thickness of 0.41 inches, and a weight, according to my scales, of 2.02 ounces, which gets the golf clap because that is exactly what they claim that it weighs. In comparison, you're looking at the standard Bugout with the Grivery handles is 1.85 ounces. The CF Elite slightly less than that. I can't remember what that is. I think it's like 1.75 or something like that. A custom shop Bugout, which I have one so I could compare it. It is with the G10 scales is about 2.3 ounces. I'm sorry, 2.2 ounces. So just a little bit more. So keep that in mind. It's pretty much right in that usual Bugout range. A little bit heavier than a standard one, but not so much that any human being is going to notice it. Size comparisons, we will start out with a couple of Spydercos, then we will go in to a few Benchmades. So you have your Paramilitary 2 and the Para 3. Very similar in length to the Para 3. That's why I have extensively compared the regular Bugout to the Para 3 lightweight, because they're pretty similar overall size. I'll grab a few Benchmades. We're going to start out with two more S90V carbon fiber Benchmades. Apparently, I have a penchant for them. We have the similarly color schemed as well, 940-1, and the newer Mini Freak in the carbon and S90V. You can see a little bit bigger than Mini Freak, just a little bit shorter than the 940. And now we'll bring out some other Bugouts. Obviously, I don't have a standard Bugout because I do really like the Bugout, but I got one of the custom ones and didn't really feel a need to keep the standard one around for a while. I had a CF Elite, I think, but obviously exactly same dimensionally as your standard Bugout. You can just see a little bit difference there in the butt. And the Mini Bugout, which is significantly minier. I always forget that before I bring it out. It's very much minier than the standard Bugout. So about this knife, like I said, it's going to be an extensive review because I've handled a lot of Bugouts. This is more just going to talk about at the end, the price and all that stuff. But S90V steel, we do need to talk about that a little bit. A great steel, genuine super steel, hyper steel, whatever you want to call it. I do know that I had one one custom knife manufacturer tell me that not only is it about twice as expensive to buy as 20CV, which doesn't make a huge difference in the cost of a knife or the materials of a blade, but it does also, it costs about 3 times as much to machine it, because it just burns through. It's such a hard steel, it burns through all the bits and everything really, really quickly. And you're replacing tools. So that is more the cost issue of S90V. That's why this has a machine satin. That's about as nice a finish as you see in S90V, because it is very hard, and it is stainless. It's not a tool steel, but it still is so hard. It's very, very hard to get a polish on it or anything like that. I know another custom maker, I think it was Peter Rosenti. One of my friends got a polished S90V blade from him, and he said that's the last one he'll ever. It was the first and last one he'll ever do, because it took a long time and it was really hard to get polished right, just because the steel's so hard. This does come with a great edge, which is a good thing, because S90V, it's not difficult to sharpen, but it does take a while, for sure. It's something you have to be patient with. I don't find it to be chippy or anything like that. It takes a really good edge. It just takes a long time to get there. It's a steel that you definitely want to keep touched up. You don't want to let it get dull. It's a lot better to, spend, if you're using this a whole lot. It holds an edge for a long, long time, so you're not going to be doing this as often as you are on other stuff. But, if you're using this a lot, just make sure you keep it sharp. It's a lot easier to touch it up, in 20 minutes every now and then than it is to let it get really dull, not touch it for a couple months, and have to spend 2 or 3 hours, trying to put a new edge on it. But again, it holds an edge a really long time, so you're not going to be doing it that often. It's just a trade-off. But I do think it's a great steel. I do like it a lot. I do not enjoy sharpening it just because it takes so long. I've only sharpened, I've never sharpened Maximet yet. I have a couple, but I would put that in the same category. It's another one you want to keep the edge good on them. You don't want to let them get dull. But I'm thinking like M4, stuff like that. It's the same, like M4 is way easier to sharpen than S90V is. It's so time consuming. Like I said, it's not difficult. It's just a very time consuming steel to sharpen. About 22 thousandths behind the edge, so same as your average bug. I think maybe it's a thousandth or two thinner than the last couple bug outs I've had, but not screamingly thin behind the edge, but does have a really good factory edge on it. So that's good. Very even grinds and all that stuff. So that's good. Ergonomically, it's a bug out. It does feel a bit different here, compared to the custom one. If I put that in the hand, just to compare back to back really quick, maybe this is a bit more comfortable, but the G10 maybe is a bit more comfortable, but we're talking like microns here. It's not really a big deal. This doesn't really make a big difference in the comfort of it. I thought it might, but it really doesn't. That was one thing I was kind of worried about with it, but in the end, it really doesn't. As far as the carry goes, we'll do this quick. It's a bug out. It carries great. It's it's really light, 2 ounces. That lovely bug out clip, which I like a lot. I even put one on my 940. It's very thin in the pocket, easy to get your hand past. There's hardly anything sticking out there. You do get that little pop of blue that somebody can see if they're looking really, really closely, but still very, very discreet knife to carry. No problems there. As far as the action goes, again, it's a Benchmade. I will say that this one was a little stiff out of the box. I did adjust the pivot a little bit and lubed it up. I didn't take it apart because that is a pain. Something else we'll talk about more. I do not enjoy taking apart Benchmades. I have a special little tool for the pivot, and I don't like it. I don't like doing it, so I just did the compressed air method. Blew it out of the compressed air, dribbled some oil in it, gently blew compressed air through it again to push it through, and it's pretty good. But it's not quite as like, it doesn't totally drop, like my custom does. But my custom has been carried a whole heck of a lot more. So I'm sure it will break into that point. It's eventually, but right now I just got to give it, a little bit of a wristy to get it to close, but not bad. The thumb studs are super easy to use. Bug outs are a blast to play with, like a whole lot of Benchmades are. So there's that. So the conclusion, that's the main thing we want to get to. So I'm going to bring out the custom one again to compare to you. So this is $255, S90V carbon fiber. You think, well, I can go to the custom shop. I can get a lot more choices. And it's $240. But this is about as expensive as you can get in the custom shop. It's M4 coated blade, the purple standoffs, gray G10, and purple thumb stud. It's about $240. carbon fiber and S90V are not options in the custom shop. You can't get either of them. So, and I bet if you could, it would cost more than this, because again, the S90V is harder to machine than M4 is, not by a dramatic amount, but by a little bit. And carbon fiber scales would probably be, if it was in the custom shop, I don't know, 260, something like that. And you can't get that backspacer if you really like that and you want that. So there's that. You have the Blade HQ exclusive 20 CV G10 handle bug out, which has like green standoffs and green thumb stud, a bit lighter G10 than this. $212. But that's like a Blade HQ exclusive. So they're going to come and they're going to go, and they're going to be hard to get. And, you know, maybe that's the closest value to this. But again, it's not carbon fiber. There's that. Custom bug outs. People customize the snot out of bug outs. They throw a lot of money at bug outs. So just to see, I thought, okay, this is $255. What kind of bug out can I build for about that same price? Well, that's remotely similar to this. Well, $131.75 for a standard bug out, $85 for Rogue Blade Works carbon scales, and $23 for a titanium Flytanium backspacer. That's not changing the color of the thumb studs if you want to do that. Well, the standard one comes with these blue ones. It's $240, and you still have an S30V blade that came with the bug out. You still haven't upgraded to the S90V steel. So if you think a bug out is overpriced from the get-go, that the basic one is overpriced, which a lot of people do, and I'm not going to get into the weeds with that. If you think a basic bug out is overpriced, then yeah, you probably think this is overpriced. But if you think this is overpriced for what you're getting, replicate it. Go to the custom shop, build a custom bug out, try and build something close to this for $255, and you can't, because at the end of the day, it's not S90V or it's not carbon, one or the other. You can get 20 CV and stuff, which is arguably just as good as steel in daily use maybe than S90V is, but S90V is definitely considered a more premium steel than that. So yeah, replicate it. That's kind of my thoughts on it. Is yeah, it's very expensive for a bug out, but you know, just the bug out's a great design. It doesn't matter that it started out cheap to me. It really doesn't. It's a great design, and now you can get a really fancy pants one that is worthy of the biggest, you know, knife snob on earth, other than maybe you just don't like that it's production and says Benchmade on it. But I don't think $255 is insane. I don't think it's a bargain by a stretch of the imagination. Again, you have to really like the bug out. If you don't like the bug out, this ain't going to convince you to like the bug out, because other than you get zero flex, you know, because it's carbon fiber, other than that, it's a bug out at the end of the day, and nothing's really going to change that. So, and then with me, I'm in a weird position. Now that I have this, I don't need both of these. I have the custom shop G10, you know, one, and I don't know which one I'm going to keep. I really don't. You know, this one was built for me, but again, I can just order one tomorrow, another one. It took like 3 weeks to get here. It's not a big deal. This is a regular production. This is first production, so I assume they're probably this first runs in usual fashion, like any knife company. It's probably going to sell out. It already has sold out a few places, and it hasn't even shown up a few places yet. I know Blade HQ, it's still on pre-order, but it's going to come and go for a little bit. But it is a regular production knife, just like the 940-1 was hard to get for you know, 6 months, a year. And now they're super easy to get. This will be the same way. I don't know. I like the non-coated blade because, you know, Benchmade does not trust us mortals with tool steel and it not being coated. So because this is M4, it's coated. But, you know, I don't know. Maybe I keep this and I'll get a 20 CV Grivery handled one in a crazy color or something like that, just to make it a bit different. I don't know. But it's given me a dilemma, and I already have a bug out. So I have a custom bug out. So you can tell, yeah, it's a really nice knife. Again, I'm not making excuses and I'm making justifications. It's just math. If you like the bug out and you want a fancy bug out, this may be the best value way to go. If you just want a really fancy bug out, this or the custom shop are probably the way to go. Buying all the custom parts. Yeah, you get the custom one that you want, but it's still an S30V blade at the end of the day. So for that same price. So there you go. If you don't like the bug out, it ain't worth it. If you're a big bug out fan, I do think it's worth it. So hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've been Brian. Have a good one.